Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We are back on the F86 project. Like you guys just saw this last weekend, we got the first flight, actually the first 4 flights done on the Sabre. So now it's time to finish it up. I've already added quite a few details and changes, so I'll go over those in just a second. First obvious thing we did here is got a nose gear door on it now, and I made the main gear doors as well, the small ones. I also put much softer springs in it because it was sitting really high in the back, so now it's sitting right, and these have just enough spring rate to where the weight of the model just makes them collapse all the way, so they don't just completely collapse under the weight, they hold most of the weight, so they should make for nice soft landings. Some other improvements I made, I'm going to flip it over and show you guys. Obviously I got the canopy in. The way you do that is you cut out the fiberglass and then you glue in the plastic underneath. So now we can see just how much room we don't have in this thing. So I did make some changes on the inside. We'll go over those first. One of the problems was, this is just laying in here. One of the problems we had was the retract valve was leaking. So I found a good Robart unit, put that in. Now it's holding air great. Another issue I had when we were getting ready to do the last flight, we were actually going to do a 5th flight, but we didn't. And the reason is the servo I had mounted on this plate was just hot glued on, and it had broken free, and I kept wondering why I would richen it up in the air and it wasn't really changing anything because the servo was just moving. So we have real mounts, we have a nice brand new Spectrum servo, so this is ready to go. Let's see, what else did I do? Also one of the reasons that this thing sounded very loud on the 3rd flight especially was because the coupler that goes from the flange on the cylinder head to the tune pipe, it's like a silicone type coupler. Well, it melted through and blew out the side, and I think that happened at the end of the first flight. So it really shouldn't have been running as well as it was, given that a lot of the pressure was going out the side right here, and there was less pressure going to the fuel tanks, which is why I kept having to richen the thing up. It was talking to me, but I wasn't listening. So anyways, what I had to do was, you're not going to be able to see it, but I made a metal sleeve that takes up the empty space in between the header and the tune pipe. So there was about this much, stupid fly, there was about this much exposed coupler in between the tune pipe and the header, and it burned out around that spot. So I made a little aluminum pipe that is just the right size to go between the header and the tune pipe. So now there's no exposed silicone hose. So that should be good. So that's sorted out. Got the gear doors on. I'm going to flip it over and show you guys a couple of ducting improvements that I made. All right, now you can get a better idea of the door. This actually will just be held against the strut as it comes down by air force, and it'll close by air force. I put a little extra flange thing on here, so as the gear comes out, in theory, it'll catch on this and keep it. This is how it's supposed to look. In theory, this is going to work just like this. We'll see if it actually does. It's not going to keep the gear from locking or anything like that. The worst case scenario, it's just going to do this. But I'm pretty sure it's going to actually stay on that little ledge. So that's that. So I made a couple of improvements to the ducting. I don't know if you guys remember, but my secondary duct in here was just, this opening was just open and there was no lip on it. It's just a sharp little scoop. So what I did was I took some balsa wood And I made a nice little ramp right there that goes from the bottom of the fuselage into the duct. So it should get lots of smooth air through here now, which will be nice. And I could hear it. You probably couldn't hear it on the video, but I could hear it in person. There was a very distinct tearing sound in the air as it went by. And I'm pretty sure it was this sharp edge of this nose gear door opening right here. So now it should get nice smooth airflow through this section. And then you probably didn't notice it. Let me get my flashlight. Somewhere there's a flashlight. You probably didn't notice it before, but there was a pretty sharp step, and there was like a gap in between the bottom of the fan lip and this cheater hole. So again, we've essentially really smoothed out how the airflow comes through here into the fan unit. It is way better. There was a big step in here on these corners, especially these two corners. The center of it wasn't too bad, but this should, in theory, make a pretty noticeable improvement in thrust. And I was already surprised at how well it's performing as it was. So I'm hoping that with these couple little duct changes to it, cleaning up some of the openings a little bit with the doors, that this thing is going to perform even better now. So we will find out soon enough. We're going to take it out Sunday. This thing is ready to fly. I think all the bugs are worked out of it for now. Next step is going to be doing the rest of the metal tape on it, and red paint. I got to order my paint mask still. I'm waiting. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my P47 before I order decals. We're going to actually change the scheme on the Corsair a little bit, on Bentley's Corsair, because we're competing in Scale Masters and you have to have a picture of the real airplane to do your static judging. And I cannot find anywhere a picture of this paint scheme. I know it's real, but I can't find anything online that shows this paint scheme. So I found a similar paint scheme, different tail number, different letters in the fuselage, obviously no name. And I got to change a couple of things. But anyways, I'm trying to decide what I want to do with that. There's a couple different ways I can go. There's a couple different schemes that are pretty similar to this. I just need to figure out which one I want to do. But anyways, I'm going to order some Minutemen paint masks for this thing. And yeah, it's looking really good. I cannot wait to fly it again. This thing is so much fun, performs so well. And now that I feel like I've got the issues worked out that we had at the field, more specifically leaking air system and, tune issues throughout the day being caused by the pipe coming apart. Hopefully all that's sorted out, and now it should perform even better and look a lot better than it did during the first flight. So anyways, let's get back to work. All right, guys, now that the difficult part is done, these radiuses really suck. Laying out the lines for the sides, and yeah, getting ready to start putting some pieces down. Sweet. Well, that's your step-by-step on how to do this. Psych. I skipped all of it. So, the bottom is painted red. Get some better footage tomorrow. Well, today, technically, it's 2 in the morning. But all the metal's done. And yeah, the bottom's painted red. So I just need to, I'm out of paint. So, but I need it to dry, the bottom, so that way I can set it on something to paint the top. So, although I could do it on its gear like this, and I'd have to cover up everything on the wing though. Anyways, it's looking freaking sweet, and yeah, super stoked on it. I love this paint scheme. I've wanted to do this paint scheme for a long time, and in my opinion, this paint scheme only looks good when you have actual metal. Paint just doesn't quite cut it when you use the paint for the silver. So anyways, pretty stoked, and yeah, I'm gonna get some sleep, go get some more paint in the morning, and we'll finish this thing off. I really wish I had decals. I do not. I am like the worst procrastinator when it comes to ordering decals. So, anyways, I don't have them yet, but we're gonna fly it painted and covered on Sunday. So, looking forward to that. It's gonna look freaking awesome in the sun. So, super stoked. F86 is definitely one of my favorite jets of all time, and it's such a pretty airplane. Anyways, we'll check back in the morning. All right, well, there you have it. She is red. Got a little cleanup work to do. Got to put it back together, hook everything back up, double check everything. Still some little detail painting to do. I want to like paint inside the gear, in between the flight controls, stuff like that. I got to paint inside the duct. There's also some small detail stuff to be painted, but overall, I think it looks freaking sweet. So, hope you guys like it. We're gonna take her out in the morning, get some footage of it in the air, and see how these new improvements worked out. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.